everyone, my name is Ifeoma Chibogo and you're welcome to Ifeoma Speaks. Today, I'll be speaking on when the home becomes a jungle. Is this a time of the signs or a sign of the times? The answer lies with the individual. In the past 5 years, uncountable numbers of spouses have lost their lives or become incapacitated because of domestic jungle justice. I say uncountable because reported cases are on the rise, but not as much as unreported cases. What exactly is going on? Why should the relationship that God created for His purpose become a death trap or a chamber of horrors and torture? Initially, husbands were the culprits. We learnt of cases of stabbing wives to death, beating pregnant wives to death with unborn babies, mutilating them, and leaving them for dead with sensitive body parts missing. Lately, the women are in fierce competition with the men for front row in this gory domestic saga. If they are not pouring hot oil on the men, they are stabbing them to death or setting the bedroom or house on fire while the men sleep. In most homes that operate on the platform of violence, many men are yet to wake up to the reality that their wives have overtaken them in finding new and creative devilish methods to vent pent-up anger. Honestly, this is a tragic nightmare. Marriage is not a jail sentence. If you must get married, among other qualities, please look out for reverential fear of God and self-discipline. Otherwise, your knight in shining armor could become your nightmare, and your queen of your castle could become your queenine. During courtship, everyone should be on the lookout for telltale signs that are usually ignored, habits, or demonstrated attitudes. These are called red flags or danger signals. Some people are able to cover up their malicious and evil energies and intentions, and you simply have no clue. But if truth be told, most abusive relationships do not start overnight. You'll notice the lack of transparency, the lies and more lies, the negative and dysfunctional behaviors. You will definitely notice. Like the pedestrian saying, shine your eyes. When you see a man or woman that is in a hurry to get married, it may not be out of love. Why would you want to get married to someone who prevents you from meeting his family or friends, or who feels uncomfortable when you ask siblings or friends questions? How can you see a man who slaps his mother or tells you that his mother is useless, and you go ahead and marry him happily because you feel that will save you from mother-in-law issues? How can you hear a young lady tell her father or older brother to shut up and mind their business because she has her life to live, and you're happy that she's independent, particularly if you told them so in defense of you during courtship? There are so many examples of red flags, but assuming these were not seen or noticed, how will you know you're in a jungle, and what should you do? Please do not go away. I'll be right back. There are many ways of knowing you are in a jungle. I'll mention some. The first one is communication. When communication starts failing, when the falcon no longer hears the falconer and vice versa. You say one thing, you are misunderstood, or the other party constantly feels misunderstood. The second one is fragile self-image. When ego sets in, the other party gets easily hurt. You are suddenly in competition over every issue, and you're constantly being accused of disrespect. The third one is low self-esteem. When one spouse lacks confidence or suffers from a complex, which manifests through trying to control or dominate the other party. The fourth one is insecurity. When one of you is fearful or insecure, this makes that party unnecessarily clingy. Then we have the fifth one. The fifth one is the battle of the mind. When either of you starts assuming or imagining things, when trust evaporates into the wind. You know those moments when you sneak to read text messages and give them some wrong interpretations? You check inboxes, you check his phone, he checks your phone, and then when anyone sees I love you messages from any other opposite sex, problem. Why not check sent items to see if there was a response? Tell you something. It's okay, it's actually okay for your spouse to be admired by others. That does not mean this is reciprocated in an untoward manner. Not all admiration is unhealthy. Then the sixth one is quick judgment. Slow down. Calm down. Do not judge too quickly. Everybody is a work in progress. See the other person as God's project, not his failure. If you take things easy, your assumed hurt can turn to power, and your assumed wounds can turn to wisdom. The seventh one is unforgiveness. Holding on to hurts that pile up. You become bitter and unpleasant, and this leads to escalated situations. There is no need to get consumed by anger and blinded by bitterness. The eighth one is violence. When your spouse exhibits violent tendency or violent tendencies, kicking doors, breaking bottles, and the television, and possibly hitting you. Do you know that if your spouse hits you once, you're most likely going to be hit again and again? Do not be mistaken about it. No matter how deep or soothing an apology you receive, you will be hit again. If not immediately, sometime later. Interestingly, violent spouses are usually exceptionally charming. Very charming. The ninth one is being secretive. When your spouse demands you become secretive about what goes on between both of you, or isolates you from friends and family, let me ask you a question. Why would you hide someone who is not hiding you? Your neck or hand is broken. You bandage it and limp to work. When colleagues ask, you lie that you fell, or say there was no light and you slipped at the stairs. Now, this is where it gets interesting. To cover up, you look for happy pictures where ice cream is being put in your mouth, or where you were sitting on each other's laps, and be posing on social media, trying to show the world that you're happy, whereas you're dying silently and slowly. People only get to know the truth when they see RIP, rest in peace, with your photograph and read snippets of your real story. In any case, there are damage control tips. Spouses should build up their self-image. Get a life. Get or create a job. Do not be idle. Do not expect too much of your fellow human being. That way, disappointments will be less. Stop making excuses for troubled spouses and stop living in denial. You have to face difficult realities. Balanced reality about yourself and reality about your spouse. Learn to forgive. Forgive yourself, forgive your spouse, no matter the offense. Let go of wrongs so that genuine love can prevail. You cannot play God in people's lives. Rather, commit them to God in prayer. Seek help. Seek counseling. Seek mentoring. Control your mind. Control your thoughts. Control your imaginations. All vices start from the mind. Evil is conceived in the mind, conceptualized, and executed. You see, you have to raise alarm while you are yet alive. Do not keep quiet. Silence is escapist. Speaking up is corrective. Have a conversation with your spouse to seek help. And if the party does not agree, escalate to authorities. This includes parents, religious leaders, counselors, and so on and so forth. You need to break the cycle of violence and abuse. Whenever an argument with your spouse starts getting unhealthy, control yourself. Take a walk. Sleep in another room. Get relations or close friends to allow you pass the night at their place if need be. Because the important thing is that you need to seek safety. Your safety is paramount. Make friends with your neighbors. Do not be an island. Otherwise, the day you start shouting for help, they'll pretend not to hear. Always have call credit on your mobile phone or any phone for that matter for placing emergency calls to make sure you don't run out of credit on your landline in the house. Do not worry about what people will say or idle talks when you speak up. There is nobody without problems. They could be coming out of one or getting into one themselves. Always let people know what you're passing through. Report to law enforcement agents. If you do not want to do so out of fear of the unknown or threats, then send a mail to me at ifeomachibogu.com or get in touch with me through any of my social media platforms, and professional help will surely come your way. Make sure you do something. Do not just stay there. Thank you so much for watching. Ensure you share this. You could be saving lives. I remain Ifeoma Chibogu. Follow me on all social media platforms. The handle is Ifeoma Chibogu. Remember, life is meaningless until you find your purpose. Thank you.